Hello, everybody. My guest today is John Jonas. He's helped thousands of entrepreneurs succeed in their business by doing outsourcing differently. He created and runs onlinejobs.ph, the largest website for finding Filipino virtual workers with over 500,000 Filipino resumes and over 100,000 employers from around the world using it. He works about 17 hours per week, choosing to spend his time with his family rather than working. John, are you ready to take us to the top?
I am ready. Thanks.
What's your family look like? How many kids do you have?
I got five.
5 kids. Give me the oldest and the youngest age.
So my oldest boy is 15 and my youngest boy is 4. And I have 3 girls in the middle.
Are they working on the business yet or no?
You have no idea, man. My 15-year-old son runs 2 different businesses. One of them, he has multiple products selling on Amazon. The other one is selling motorcycles that he imports from China.
And how old is he again?
He's 15. He started this when he was 11.
That's amazing. So does your 15-year-old make more or less money than you do?
He makes less, but he makes more than most or almost all kids.
15-year-olds. I love that. Okay, I want to circle back in a second just on that thread from a parenting perspective, what you've done in terms of raising him and your kids to encourage entrepreneurship. But before we get there, tell us more about your company, Online Jobs. What's it do and how do you make money?
So years ago, I was teaching how to hire Filipino outsourcers because I had hired some people and I found that tons of people wanted to know how to do it.
By the way, John, why Filipino? I mean, I hear pitches like this all the time that it's like anywhere in the world for VAs, but why Filipino specifically?
So there's a specific set of cultural differences in the Philippines that doesn't exist anywhere else in the world. And it's not like one of these things makes all the difference. It's the combination of a bunch of things. So they're honest, they're loyal, they're hardworking, they speak American English. They want to make you happy. They're not entrepreneurial, so they don't want to steal your business or your ideas or whatever it is. So there's a whole bunch of things that kind of combine to make this better than elsewhere. And the other side of it is if you hire them full time and give them a full-time job, they will go above and beyond. Full-time work is really prized in the Philippines, and it's hard to find.
So if I forced you to pick one task that you would say your marketplace is the most efficient at hiring Filipino workers for, what would that task be?
I don't have that. We have 500,000 Filipino resumes. There's 500,000. So you want to hire a general virtual assistant? Great. That's easy. You want to hire a programmer? That's easy. You want to hire a designer, or a social media person, or a content writer, or an SEO person, or whatever it is, right? I mean,
what kind of work do you feel like they do best?
So in terms of comparing to other places of outsourcing in the world, their English and their cultural experience is really good for the US. They're really good programmers.
Yep.
They're really good designers. WordPress. There's so many people who are really dang good at WordPress.
So for example, let's say I'm listening to a show right now. We have a lot of private equity, M&A, CEOs of SaaS companies. When we think about how do we get some quick software development done, I mean, I typically go to TopTal because that's what they brand themselves on. It's only the top 3% of developers. Help me understand a use case where I might go your direction and Filipino developers through your platform versus a TopTal, which specializes in just one thing.
So I have a CEO of Unique who just went from 30 million to 300 million last year, coming over to meet with me right when we were done, and he was interested in hiring Java developers. So the case where you would do that is you don't want to pay $150,000 a year for a developer. So in the Philippines, you're going to pay for that same developer $1,500 a month for full-time work. They're super talented. I mean, the very first guy I ever hired, 12 years ago, his blog was a page rank 6 because he had written some WordPress plugins that millions of people were using. And so I hired him thinking, I'm a programmer, thinking, I don't know if he can do as good of work as I can. I don't know if he's going to be as good. He was better. And the guy, I would put him up against anybody in the world at what he does. He's amazingly good. So not that everybody in the Philippines is like that, but you can definitely find really, really good talent for super affordable.
So it's a big cost advantage is what you're saying. I mean, I work with CEOs all the time and I ask about their employee-based things. There are people that are really spinning up amazing dev teams in Argentina in Krakow, Poland, right over there, Moscow. You're seeing this kind of Kyiv. You're seeing teams pop up, but what you're saying is from a culture perspective, from a character makeup perspective, in terms of, they're not going to steal your ideas. They don't, they're not aggressive entrepreneurs like maybe other places. And from a cost perspective, they do great work. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and it's kind of a combination of those things that makes it really, really good.
Okay. So tell me more about the company. What year did you launch?
So we launched in 2009. I was just finding that there was no good way to find people in the Philippines. It sucked at the time. And so we created this marketplace thinking, we'd really like to have a better way to find people for ourselves. And the response in the Philippines has been outrageous. Like, people just flock to us because there are actual jobs and they love it. So all we do is just provide a marketplace. Like, we're like monster.com, but for the Philippines. So
how'd you solve the chicken and egg problem, right? How'd you get your first person to pay you as an employer looking to hire Filipinos? And how'd you convince your first 10 Filipino resumes to come to you?
So for me, I was teaching, and I had so many people asking me to teach their mailing lists, so their customers, how to hire in the Philippines. So I had access to the employers already, and bringing the Filipinos in wasn't very difficult. Actually, I never did anything to bring the Filipinos in. I talked to my team that were working for me and said, "Hey, what can we do to market this?" And they said, "Oh, I can do this. Oh, I can do this. I can do this." And they went and did everything. I've never done a single thing to market it in the Philippines.
So what happened is they submitted their resumes, maybe your team of 5 or whatever. They told their friends, boom, 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 and word of mouth kind of took care of that side of the marketplace.
Yeah, they started posting on classified ads. They posted on Friendster, which was a social network at the time. Craigslist.
So what do you measure in terms of the health of your business? Is it number of completed jobs? Is it transaction volume? Is it number of employers using you per month? Like, what's the thing you track?
So I have a bunch of stuff that I track. How many people who sign up for a free account and post a free job, how many of them convert to a paid account is one of the things I measure. I measure how many people hire a worker. I measure how many people are using our time tracking software, Time Proof. I measure revenue.
What's it called? It's called Time Proof.
Time Proof, yeah. It's our time tracking thing. I measure traffic versus overall conversion.
Okay.
So and in that data that I'm talking about, there's a lot of stuff I don't measure. Mm-hmm. Like, there's a lot of stuff that I ignore that people always say, "Oh, you got to do this."
What do you ignore?
I ignore specific traffic sources. I don't care where traffic is coming from. It's too hard to know. It's too hard to track. I ignore.
Well, now, John, someone listening will say, "What do you mean it's too hard to track? You set up Google Analytics and you look at your referral sources."
Yeah, but there's so many of them that I mean, we have traffic from everywhere, right? And we have so much word of mouth traffic that I just ignore it. And people aren't going to like this one, but
no, tell us, what else do you ignore?
I ignore Google Analytics. I don't have Google Analytics on my site. I don't like Google Analytics. I don't like the way it gives data. I don't trust its data. I don't trust Google. That's part of it. And I find myself, I tend to do things differently than most people. So
tell me some of the other things you ignore. Anything else?
Email marketing.
Okay.
Email marketing. Like, it's a disaster, right? Like, it's good and it's profitable and we do a little bit of it, but everybody's always saying, "Oh, you got to build a list." And I'm like, you know what? This is dumb. People hate email. And so we don't do it. For a long, long time, I ignored social media marketing because I don't want to be on Facebook. I don't want anything to do with Facebook.
Yeah. So you're creating, this thing is, you don't mind maybe growth being slower, but it being more curated and really from word of mouth on both sides of the marketplace. And it seems to be working well for you.
Yeah, I'm not, we've never raised money. I'm not.
I was going to say, John, I'm guessing based off your character and how you talk about life, you are definitely a bootstrap kind of guy, which I like.
Yeah. I like the guy. I like the way the Jason Fried and David Inmeyer Hansen at Basecamp do stuff.
Yep.
And I find when I read their stuff, it's like, oh, this is exactly how we do things.
Yep. So let me ask you some other more specific questions. Over the past 12 months, how many Filipinos have you paid, say, at least $100?
I don't know.
I want to get a sense of how reliant on you are they? Like, how many Filipino lives are you really changing because you're giving them significant income?
In the last 12 months, so here's the thing. We don't pay them. Their employers pay them.
Well, I know, but how much of it, what's going through your system, right? Your marketplace.
Yeah, so 40,000 Filipinos have gotten jobs in the last 12 months.
That's amazing. And you define gotten job. That's not like a free account. That's actual paid by an employer.
Yeah, like they've been hired by someone here. We have.
Okay, good. Let me give you a use case. I hire someone through your system, a team of 5. So now it's at 40,005 Filipinos got jobs. They do so well. I say, you know what? I don't want to pay John his cut of the marketplace. Let me figure out how to just work directly with these guys. So I take them out of your marketplace to do that. 1, do you care about that? And 2, if so, how do you try and prevent that?
Boom. That's exactly what we are. We don't take a cut. There is no part of our marketplace.
How do you make money?
That's why I can't tell you how many we've had, because all we do is connect you with people. We don't take a cut of their salary. You pay a small amount to be able to contact them in the beginning.
Oh,
as soon as
I
you contact them, you're done with us.
So you're not a marketplace. You are a marketplace in terms of what you do, but in terms of business model, you are a subscription model. Employers pay you a monthly fee to access the talent.
While you're recruiting. Just while you're recruiting. Once you're done recruiting, you can cancel.
Okay. What's the average?
I want to go back
go ahead.
and stop you for a second, because your assumption up front is dangerous. You just hired a team of 5. Start with 1. I've seen this too many times where people are like, "Oh, I'm going to hire this team," and it's overwhelming.
John, just to be clear, I'm just giving an example to understand how your marketplace works. But no, great lesson. Start with 1.
Start with 1.
So let me understand more of this. So from an employer perspective, I think you said in the bio 100,000 employers have used your platform, correct? Since you launched.
Well, no, it's closer to 200,000.
200,000 have used the platform since launch. They recruit. You don't mind if after they pay you kind of their fee while they're recruiting. You don't mind if their relationship moves through your platform or around your platform, anything like that. You just want to be a valuable platform. If they use you, great.
That's the whole point. No, because we don't get any cuts of salaries.
Do you make money on the time-proof tracking software?
No.
Interesting. So that's just a free tool you give to make the value of your marketplace better.
It's all free. Yeah.
Got it. And ideally that attracts more employers because they know you have really accurate time tracking.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. What on average are these employers paying? Like if someone in my audience wants to sign up and they want to do 1 hire over the next 4 weeks through your system, what do they pay?
So I would say the average Filipino right now is asking for about $500 a month.
Sorry. I meant to use your marketplace, to access your talent.
It's $69 for a month.
$69 for 1 month, and they can pay for 1 month or 5 months, however long they need to recruit.
Yeah, it's however long it takes you to recruit. But so you're going to pay $69. You can recruit whatever you can recruit in that month. You can hire 3 people, whatever.
Yep.
And then cancel, and you're done. That's it.
Do you see people using that on a campaign basis, or do they actually? This would surprise me, by the way, but you're full of surprises. Do they stick many, many months? I mean, do these people pay that over and over?
So a lot of people do. A lot of people just cancel once. The thing that we know is I know if you hire one person one time, you're going to come back at some point in the future. Whether it's 5 years from now or 5 months from now, you're going to come back.
Yep.
Okay. I see it every day.
That's great. I'm going to shift now to more of your personal life now that we understand more about the business. So again, just to summarize, average Filipino is looking for, call it $500 a month on average. An employer comes to you. Someone in my audience wants to use and access your talent pool. They pay $69 a month. They can cancel at any time or just do it for 1 month. And over the past 12 months, over 40,000 Filipinos have gotten jobs through your platform. From how many employers?
Probably 25,000.
Okay, 25,000. Fair enough. Good. Now, how have you managed to structure? By the way, I mean, if you have 25,000 employers and they all paid at least $70, I mean that's 1.7 million in revenue right there. Is that accurate?
Yeah, there were more people than that. Not everybody who pays hires someone, but
they still have to pay that fee, right? $70.
Yeah, they pay the fee. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm generally in the range, right?
Maybe it wasn't that high. I mean, that revenue is way lower than our actual revenue.
Okay. So either your 25,000 number of employers over the past 12 months is wrong, or your price point's higher. Do you actually have more employers?
Or some of those 25,000 employers stuck for multiple months.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Sorry, you're right. At a minimum, you've got 1.7, but a lot of these have stuck for many, many months.
Yeah, right.
Okay. I want to shift back to your personal life. You said you only work 17 hours a week. How have you resisted the temptation, right, to keep working 40, 50, 60, 70-hour weeks?
So one of the things that I've always done is I will never trade time for money. So there's all kinds of opportunities to say like, hey, we'll do something for you. And we won't do it. I will never do that. And so there's no contract work in my business. That's one thing. The second thing is, for me, I discovered years ago, and I have a good story behind this, but I won't tell it, that there's always work to be done. It's just a matter of who's doing the work. Is it me or is it someone else?
Is it a quick story?
It can be. No. Let's skip it. So there's always work to be done, right? And so I just found out, like, any work that we have in the business, I'm going to get someone else to do it.
So what do you spend your 17 hours on typically?
The only thing I do is respond to the work that's being done or give instruction for creating new work. I don't ever touch anything. I don't touch the systems. I don't touch the
What do you mean creating
website.
new work? The employer creating project files for people they hired?
No, I'm creating stuff for my people to build online jobs.
You're writing process docs essentially, right? And then sending it off to people to execute.
Yeah, our project manager system, we have tasks that we're working on. Here's me thinking through and designing this new thing that we could do to make this process better for employees.
Whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And I think through it and I design it and I give it to someone else, and someone else, I design it in my head.
Yep.
Someone else creates it on the web. Someone else does the programming for it. Someone else implements it.
And what's your team size today?
We have 21 people full-time in the Philippines.
Okay, got it. All in the Philippines. You're the only one in the...
No, I have a business partner in Idaho.
Okay.
And I have 2 people in the U.S. who do things for us.
Okay, so you plus your partner plus 2 more, so 4 full-time in the U.S.
Yeah.
Okay, very cool. The rest are all in the Philippines. That's amazing. Good. John, let's wrap up here with the famous 5. Number 1, what's the last business book you read?
Oh, crap. It's been a while.
Don't make one up if you don't remember.
I don't remember. It's been a while. I stopped reading them a while ago. I got enough to do. And I find that sometimes business books just like make me feel guilty because there's more to do. You know?
Yeah. Number 2, is there a CEO there in Utah you're following or studying?
No.
Besides your little ones who are the CEOs of their own company.
No.
All right. Number 3, besides your own, what's your favorite online tool for building a business?
Basecamp. I absolutely love it.
Number 4, how many hours of sleep do you get every night?
At 8, period. 8. Every night, 8.
Good. And you said you've got 5 kids. And what's your situation? Married, single?
I'm married.
And how old are you, John?
I just turned 40 2 days ago.
Oh, congratulations.
40 days
Very
ago.
good. Last question. What do you wish your 20-year-old self knew?
I wish I knew to be nicer.
Guys, John strikes me as a pretty nice guy. Maybe I'm tough and he's tough, so the toughness made us both fluffy today, but he seems like a pretty nice guy. He's having a lot of success. Launched his company back in 2009, Online Jobs. Seems like an unbelievable way to attract great talent that is a cultural fit, that speaks English and your language, especially if you're listening right now in America looking to outsource things like development, design, stuff like that. He's helped over 40,000 Filipinos get jobs over the past 12 months. His business model, he's got about 25,000 employers that have paid him at least $70 one time over the past 12 months, so minimum 1.7 million there in revenue. He eats his own dog food. His team size is about 21 people in the Philippines, only 4 in the US as he looks to scale this. Doesn't use Google Analytics, just focuses on word of mouth, only works 17 hours a week, building business in a healthy way. John, thank you for taking us to the top.
Hey, thanks for having me.